Guys, there's literally a way to now set up Moltbot, what used to be Clawdbot, in like less than 5 minutes with just a couple clicks. This was just released and it's actually really cool. So I'm going to show you how to do this today, how to set up Moltbot in like less than 5 minutes. All right. If you don't know what Moltbot is, I mean, you probably do by now. It's everywhere. I'm not going to rehash everything. There's like a million videos at this point explaining it, talking about it. It's all over the place. But really, in my own words, it's just like a super AI. Honestly, I don't really buy into all the hype around most of the stuff that comes out, but I've been working with AI now for a long time, 6, 7 years, especially co-writing and doing these non-development workflows with AI. And I can confidently say that this is the thing that I've been the most excited about in these past 6 or 7 years. It truly is, a super powerful thing that we can now use. And it's like, just gives you flashes of what the future is going to look like when it comes to having these autonomous kind of AIs able to work alongside of us. All right. So it's literally a super AI. You can see their website here, molt.bot. It clears your inbox, sends emails, manages your calendars, checks you in for flights. I don't even use it for that stuff. But I'm going to show you what I do use it for eventually. But what we can literally do is run this thing with like no guardrails, basically. And it's like Claude code on steroids. This is another way of explaining it, right? If you're thinking it's Clawdbot, that's because they changed the name because of some problems with Anthropic. I think asks for them to change the name to Moltbot. But that's what it is. That's their site here. Now, over the past couple days, right, there have been like a ton of videos. You have two camps really. There's the people who are buying Mac Minis and letting this run crazy on Mac Minis. Basically, create your own Apple account for it, like a entire isolated environment. You create its own Apple account, own email, and you just give it full access. That is literally what I did. I have a Mac Mini running right now with my my Moltbot on it, and it's acting as like this super co-assistant for the past couple days. I have it integrated with iMessage. I literally text it like I'm texting a worker or an assistant. I airdrop it things. I talk to it all day long, and that's how I have it running. The reason I ran it on a MacBook is because, believe it or not, like me, somebody who's a non-developer, I tried to deal with these VPSs, running these in VPS, which is the second way, the second camp, and I kind of ran into a bunch of problems. It was just not as easy as I thought it was going to be. So eventually I just realized it's easier for me just to set up a Mac Mini, not mess around and just let it go crazy, and that's what I did. But now you can literally do this on a VPS so easily in 5 minutes, and we can do it through DigitalOcean. They now created this Moltbot droplet that you can literally set up and run it. And it's funny because over the last couple of days, you see a lot of these creators create these kind of longer videos showing you how to set it all up in a VPS. And I knew all along that they're going through all of this, but at any point in the future, it's going to be so much easier. One of these companies like DigitalOcean or someone else is just going to make it so much easier. I just didn't know it was going to happen within 2 or 3 days, but here it is. So that's my little intro here. Let's get into how to set it up. You're going to come to the DigitalOcean marketplace here. I'm going to drop the link below, but you're going to see now they have Moltbot. Deploy your own personal AI assistant with Moltbot on a DigitalOcean droplet server. All right, what is Moltbot? A couple reasons. There are some slight differences running it on this DigitalOcean droplet compared to running it, from start to finish by setting it up on your own VPS or running it on your own terminal like I was doing in my Mac Mini. But they're very minor, and to tell you the truth, it's way worth it for anybody who's a non-developer because it's just super simple. So DigitalOcean complements Moltbot's open source capabilities with Droplet's security features. So now we have authenticated gateway tokens, firewall, level rate limiting, non-root execution, container sandboxing, private DM pairing. So they're even adding more security features on top. This is what we expected, right? With an open source project like Moltbot, we expect that all these other players are going to come in here and build on top of it, make it safer. That's what's so good about open source things, right? So these protections limit unauthorized access, etc. You can read through this. We can now do multi-channel messaging gateway, WhatsApp, Telegram, etc. I'll show you how to set that up. You're not going to be able to do iMessage. That's just going to be if you set up a Mac Mini. But we can run multi-agent routing with isolated sessions, flexible model support. All right. So system requirements, they're going to give you a couple options depending on the droplet. If you're just doing personal, they're going to recommend 4 gigabytes, 2 CPUs. So that's what we're going to do here. So on here, all you got to do is click Create a Moltbot droplet. We're going to open this window here, and we're just going to follow this setup, right? So getting started, follow these setups. We're going to come over here, all right? All right, it's going to open up this page here to create the droplet. We're going to choose the region closest to you. I'm just going to put San Francisco for now. And then we're going to scroll down here. It's already chosen, so like you don't have to go through any of this that you probably saw in other videos. It's just automatically set up with this Moltbot server. Keep that. Choosing the size. All right, so if you come back to that documentation they show, they talk about what you need here. So we know for personal, we really just need 4 GB, 2 CPU. All right, so you're going to see, let's go regular. And then we can see we got 4 GB, 2 CPU. So we can use this plan right here. Scroll down. Now, authentication method, you could do SSH key or password. I'm going to do password because it's easier, non-developer. But if you want to deal with an SSH key, which it's also not that difficult, but you can click it here and read through and it'll walk you through how to do that. But you could just do password. All right, I fixed up the password there. I had to change a couple things, but we got the password now. All right, we come down here. Everything's done. We could type a tag, and I'm just going to name this Alex YouTube. All right, put it in the project, and that's literally it. And then we are going to create the droplet here. Click create droplet. All right. And then here we go. I have 2 running here. I'm going to delete both of these afterwards. This is another test one I was doing right before the video. And we're going to give this a minute to set up. It's just going to take a couple seconds. All right, so after like 30 seconds, it loaded up. It's all ready. We have our new Moltbot droplet here, our VPS. We're going to click on this. Let's go back to the documentation. All right, to get started, deploy it, done. Now we just need to connect through our terminal. So what you're going to do here is put SSH root at your droplet IP. So I'm going to copy that. Come back here. Your IP is this first one here, this IP4 or IPv4. And, you know, just another quick thing to note, if you want to, I don't really recommend it because you're not going to be able to do as much, but you can literally click this console here and it's going to open it up in a terminal on the web here. So it's kind of like working in the terminal, but on the web. And this is your protected VPS right here. But as you can see, it takes like long, it's laggy. So, you know, I just recommend working in your own terminal, and we're going to basically tunnel into the VPS. So you're going to be using your own terminal, but it's going to be like you're working on another machine, right? Another server. All right. So let's go to our terminal, and inside of our terminal here, we're going to put that SSH root, and then we need the droplet IP, right? So we're going to go grab that. Remember right here, copy that, put that in there. And now you're going to basically tunnel into that VPS. So we're going to put yes, continue, permanently added. And this is the password now. So that password that I showed you that I set up on DigitalOcean, that is the password you need to put in here. And when you start typing that password, nothing is going to show up here because that's how it works in the terminal. It doesn't show it to you. So you got to kind of look at your keyboard and type it or paste it. All right. And I just pasted it in here. And once you paste that password, this is what you're going to see. It's going to come up. This is the VPS that you're running, the server. And then this is actually the Clawdbot. So like, if you saw any other videos, you got to go to Clawdbot, you got to run the command, you got to install Clawdbot all in here. But DigitalOcean literally made it so it's already done. So your Clawdbot's already installed. You don't have to do anything else. It's literally set up. So in those quick little 5 minutes or less that I just showed you setting it up on DigitalOcean, you're ready to go. Your Clawdbot is set up on your VPS here, right? So we're going to come down. Clawdbot is a personal AI assistant to run on your own devices. We have the control UI and gateway access. So we can literally also put this on the web browser, and you'll see that afterwards. Read through here. And what you're going to do, get rid of that, is come down here. And you can see at the very bottom here in the bottom left, it's kind of all the way down here, but you're going to see that now we have to choose our AI provider. We can do Gradient AI, OpenAI coming soon, or Anthropic. So that's one of the major differences right off the bat. I know that's probably going to upset some people, but you can't choose all the providers like they have in the regular Clawdbot, which I think you could do like Gemini. You can choose any of those, right? This, we are literally just stuck to Gradient AI, OpenAI, or Anthropic. For me, that's totally fine because I use Claude for everything. It's the best one in my opinion. So I'm going to go with Anthropic. We're going to do number 3. And then you need to put in your API key here. Now, be careful. Like, this can run up your API costs. So keep track of that. This thing uses a ton of tokens, a ton of context. So it will run up your APIs. So just be super careful when doing this. Put limits on, check your stuff all the time. So I just went on Anthropic Consul's website and I grabbed my API key for Claude, and then I'm going to paste it in here. All right, enter. All right, key configured successfully. I'll delete this API after. Restarting Clawdbot service. And now you can see Clawdbot is done. So it's connected to my my Anthropic API key. So now I can use Claude. Now you can see here, nothing's going on. We're kind of stuck here. To actually launch Clawdbot to speak with it, you're going to come here and we're going to run, Clawdbot TUI, which is going to help us actually kind of wake up Clawdbot. So we're going to run this /opt Clawdbot TUI. We're going to run that. All right, it's going to take a second, and you're going to see Clawdbot should now wake up. Here it is, Clawdbot. All right, the Clawdbot TUI agent main session. So now it is pretty much up and running, ready to go. We can also access the web dashboard if you've seen this before. So what you're going to do is come up here, but still in the same terminal, and you're going to see that it gave us this dashboard URL. So we could take this and go to our dashboard or go to online and visit the dashboard. And this was the biggest problem that I had beforehand because, when I was trying to set up the VPS myself, this was an extra step that you had to do that was kind of annoying trying to get it set up. But now if we just paste this URL here, we can literally see that we have the Clawdbot dashboard here, all right? So we're good to go. So let's go back to the terminal because that's really where you're going to be talking to this, initially. We're going to come back to the terminal and let's just kick this off by saying, hey, type, and it should answer us. Let's see what it says. All right, so we just said, hey, and now this is Clawdbot actually speaking to us. Hey, I just came online, fresh install, no memories yet, nothing but a blank workspace and some instructions that say figure out who you are. So who am I, what should I call myself, and more importantly, who are you? So now Clawdbot's speaking to you. This is the setup phase where you just speak to it and explain as much as you can to set it up. But basically up until this point, that was it. That's like 5 minutes to set up on DigitalOcean. You're going to go to DigitalOcean. You're going to just do that one click into the Moltbot server. You're going to set it up. You're going to just follow that documentation, SSH into it in your terminal, and that's it. You're done. Like, I'm not a developer. I do not deal with development work. I'm pretty dumb when it comes to some of this, to be honest. So to be able to set it up that easily is really cool. I'm sure that's going to help a lot of people. Now I just want to move on to the second phase, second part of this video. Now it's great you have it set up, but I just want to show you initially how I set mine up so it has the context about me. So you have two options here, really. Like, you can, speak to it now, dump all the information, maybe use voice dictation, talk to it, tell it who you are, what you want to name it, and stuff like this. But what I like to do is actually just take a context profile of my business that I already have and just feed it to it. So this is what a context profile looks like. I've spoken about context profiles in various videos. It's like one of the foundations of my co-writing systems. It's basically just a JSON document, JSON file explaining everything about my business. You could see my name, my experience, my expertise, background, origin stories, company business models. I have pricing breakdowns, everything I do, clients, what work I do. And I just have this in this big JSON file. So having this already just makes things so much easier because I don't have to re-explain my context. Not just for example, I use Claude Code to write. So it has that context profile. So it knows about my business every time I fire up Claude Code and talk to it. But it's not just that, right? I actually own these files. I have these JSON context profiles of my business so that when new tools and technology or whatever things come out like Clawdbot, I have these and it makes it so much easier for onboarding no matter what AI tool comes out. I just feed it these context profiles and I don't have to re-explain my context every time. So that's optional. You don't have to do that. If you do want to do that, that's in my Substack. I have a prompt that you can literally run in Claude and it will help you build out this entire context profile, this JSON file that you can then carry around with you everywhere you go, figuratively speaking. When it comes to jumping around AI tools, you can do that. So check that out. That's in my Substack. And then what I can literally do here is I'm just going to tell it, I'm going to give you a JSON context profile of my entire business and brand. And this should just help the onboarding process, speed it up a lot. And then I'm going to literally just paste all that JSON text in here. All right. You could see I just pasted all of this here. And now it should just be able to understand my business right away. I should not have to do much at all, right? See, this is exactly what I need. Let me save this properly and get your profile. So if you don't use this, that's fine, but you have to literally explain everything to Clawdbot and be very detailed. The more detailed you are, the better, because Clawdbot is saving all of this to it's like basically system prompts or MD files. I think it has specific MD files like a soul.md file, a user.md file, all these different MD files you can read in the documentation that play different roles, right? But we just gave it this. So now it says business profile saved to context business profile, and your info is in user MD. See, the user.md file is what it's collecting on me, right? So now it knows about me right away. It's like the craziest thing ever, right? So Alex, $10 horse racing articles to pioneering AI co-writing systems for non-developers. That's a hell of a trajectory. And you built the whole thing solo using the same system, you know. Then it's going to ask you like, now back to me. I'm going to be operating inside your world. You know, it's saying it has some name ideas, so now we need to name it. I'll just tell it, you could choose your own name. That only feels right. So go ahead and choose your own name. I like to just let the AI choose its own name, and then we will be set up. All right, so it chose its own name. For some reason, it chose Wren, W-R-E-N. And then it said something about Wren is a little bird that punches above its weight and gave this big story, but then it disappeared. So I have no idea, but it called itself Wren. So now Wren is asking about our work together, saying that its soul.md file already has good defaults, you know, and this kind of dictates how it acts towards you. But then it asks if there's anything I want to add or change, any hard boundaries or preferences. This is going to be up to you to build that. I'm not going to deal with that right now because I'm just deleting all this afterwards. But as you can see, then it says, once we nail that down, do you want to connect me to anything beyond this web chat, WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord? So like literally, you know, now you can just speak through the terminal with this on your computer, you know, and every time the terminal is up and running, you can speak to it. Even if you close out the terminal and then you SSH back into it, you need to run that every time you open up a new terminal. Every time you do that, it's going to bring all of this conversation back. It saves it across all the sessions. So like you don't got to worry about it being lost. But you know, to take it to that next step, and what makes it really cool is you can connect it to Telegram, for example, and you could be messaging it from your phone or any other computer, and you could be talking to this thing all day long, right? And then from there, you can get crazy. I'm not going to show you how to walk through the whole Telegram bot here because there's like a million videos, so just go look up how to do it. It's the same thing. It's super easy. I don't really use Telegram because I'm using iMessage, like I said, running it on a Mac Mini, but go figure out how to connect it to Telegram. Super easy. It'll take like 5 minutes. And now you can literally speak to it through Telegram. We'll be doing many more videos in the future about this. But yeah, you can speak to it through Telegram, and that's what really just opens up a ton of doors and opportunities. And then from there, you can literally build on top, right? There are a ton of skills and tools that can be integrated into this. You can work with Obsidian. You could be working on an Obsidian Vault as, you know, your co-writing vault or whatever, and share that knowledge with Moltbot and work on that together. Like, the opportunities are endless. This is something that I predict is staying around. I'm going to be making a ton of videos on this. I'm going to be building out co-writer systems inside of this. So I will be bringing all of that to you. So if you're interested in doing this, you know, set this up on a VPS like DigitalOcean, super easy. Or if you want to be crazy like myself and all these other people, you could set up a Mac Mini and run it. But either way, you know, stay tuned. I'll be dropping a lot more content on Moltbot, or formerly Clawdbot.